So, story begins with my grandparents. Uh, Both my grandma and my grandpa immigrated from Vietnam to Laos because of the Vietnam War. Let's see, it really takes place with my oldest uncle practically doing all the work. He kind of holds everything together. He's the one. He's the reason why we're all here as a family. In 1985, my uncle is there's a communist power in Laos, and we were originally Vietnamese blood, but we basically adapted to the Lao lifestyle and just became Laos at that point. But my uncle was really tired of the communist rule, and they were just things that he just really disagreed with. So his main goal was to just get out of there and go to America. But at the time, his main goal was really just get to Thailand or anywhere that's not under, stricken communist power. So what he did was he went from Laos and crossed the Mekong River into Thailand. And once he was in Thailand, there he met a family named Singkhek, which before our last name was Din, Din is actually a Vietnamese name. But once we adapted to Singkhek, the Thai people, they saw my uncle as a Lao, because at the time, if he was last name as Vietnamese, which was Din, then they would not have let him cross over, which at the time when he did cross the Mekong River, the communists were shooting at people that were crossing the river. So that was a big bummer there. But once he gets to Thailand, he basically lives with some minor parts of Singkhek family, because he had to stay with someone, but he really just migrated place to place and tried to find a stable place to kind of live. So it was really struggle worthy for him to live in Thailand all by himself, because really he just left his family in Laos. But while in Thailand, a couple years later, he was funded by a sponsorship in Arkansas. That sponsorship had him come over from Thailand to America and live in America. In America, he goes under the last name of Covington. So basically at the time when he's in Thailand, he has the last name Singkhek, really, and he goes from Singkhek to Covington because through that sponsorship he found a house parent and a house mother, and they adopted him with that last name. So they adopted him with a new American name, so it goes by Robert Covington now. My dad had actually had the resources and some money to fund him and my mom to America. My uncle had an idea of how things were kind of running, because he had a house parent and a house mother that guide him through what kind of goes on in America. But my uncle tried to help his youngest brother and my dad somewhat understand what the American lifestyle was. So he helped them out a bit. Mainly they were going to my uncle Robert Covington. He found some sponsorships also within the church community that also helped out my parents and my other uncle out, and which they learned some things about how to deal with currency and whatnot in America. But I think the biggest struggle for them at that time was just definitely currency, because they had to deal with how much do we need to buy a certain amount of groceries. And there's a story which my dad told me, they were trying to go buy some groceries one time, and they don't really know how to deal with money at that time. But I guess the first time they got there and they went to buy some groceries, they paid in hundreds or in big bills. So they didn't know how to use fives or 20s or ones. But they used hundreds a lot, and they got ripped off a lot. And it wasn't until later until they really realized they were ripped off. Yeah, that was the main struggle for them. For my uncle, Robert Covington eventually moves up to California in 2000, but as for my dad, he has some educational knowledge, so he found a job fairly easy. And before all that, but though my uncle, my dad, they work landscaping pretty much together, and so they would go around cutting grass or whatever. They find jobs or side jobs or working for whatnot around the community, or just finding simple jobs and just making simple cash, and it was like that. But then later, eventually, my dad does find a career at Maverick Transportation, and so forth. My uncle, he also finds a job at a PVC piping company, where they work on plastic pipes, and they clean how to make them and whatnot.